Hi friends, welcome back to the laboratory that we will very soon leave. So, things have gotten real because we finally have confirmed that there actually is motherfucking Accelavir in this place. And, I'm wondering if finding it might prevent Alice's death because I think she kills herself because Radical 6. Which we now know that it really did spread all over everywhere and there were towns full of people that killed it. So that's fun and great and wonderful and, Uchikoshi has a sick mind and he needs therapy. Although 999 itself made that clear. I didn't need to play this game to know that, but anyway. I guess I need therapy because I love it, I guess. I don't know. But I really do love these games, and I feel like that means I'm a masochist. Anyone else who loves these games feel that way? I think it's kind of like, I feel like you have to be a masochist to literally love this shit. I don't know, man. But man, I do. I'm trying to refresh myself on what we all learned, because stuff like this tends to escape my mind really easily. ADHD is fun that way. But the more that I expose myself to it deliberately, the kinds of things I want to make sure I remember, the more I will. The more likely I will, I suppose I should say. Actually, I might try to read a bunch of the other stuff about the pandemic too. Maybe connect some dots. I don't think I really need to. I think that all you really need to know about, yeah, the stuff is in this journal. Also, I don't think we've seen Jumpy Doll yet. So like someone named a doll Jumpy, but why? It seems like, I have a feeling this might be some kind of phrase that exists somewhere. I am afraid that this means Akane really is Zero again, but why if she is? I really want to know. And I really want to know how she even exists right now. Is, like, June's body gone? Is she literally Alice right now? I've kind of given up on assuming that, but, like, is she, though? I don't know, man. And also, like, if not, then what is she? Where is she? How is she? And also, she's Zero fucking why? Also, yeah, Clover seems to know because of what she said. They did what they wanted to do, is what she said. And then they were on the run. So, maybe she really is just as Akane's body, right? So, if that's true, then I don't know. Seeing the term Jumpy Doll, my brain, I think there's context for this in-game somewhere. I just hope it doesn't mean Akane's Zero again, because that would mean she's just really, actually, literally evil, I think. Or maybe it's debatable, or supposed to be debatable. But at the same time, I have already brought up my point of, like, man, Akane really ain't that kosher, man. Like, she really loves Jumpy, and that's obvious, but, like, she also put him in extreme mortal danger. And through a lot of hell. Along with a lot of people she seemed to very vehemently believe was not responsible. Now, if I were her, I would stay dead, I think, instead of doing this insanity. But, yeah, if she feels like there's a reason to do this second one, then, well, it'll probably make sense. But she's definitely, I mean, going through the first Nonary game and dying in it probably made her very morally ambiguous. Like, it's pretty obvious, because she just kind of ensured to murder 3 people during the first game. And she also wanted to get Ace, but I don't remember why he survived. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate about this for a billion years, I hope. But it's just, I might whenever we get the Jumpy Doll thing. I really want this game to give me more context for why the hell Jumpy Doll is even an entry in there. Especially because the entry itself doesn't give much context at all. Literally, it's just, this is a reference to the first game, but what the fuck does that mean? Because it probably means they're interconnected. Maybe even more than I think. Again, my thought is, if we find something that says Jumpy Doll or whatever, my brain immediately goes, that means Akane's Zero. But I guess we'll see, huh? Again, I should say. Okay, what I wanted to fucking do is read the goddamn journals. Okay. And I'm sorry for, like, going into entries and not reading them while I was rambling like that, and then backing out. But my brain does these loop-de-loops, and I tend to subconsciously do stuff in the game along with them. I've noticed when I'm editing, for sure. When the body is infected with Radical 6, the processing speed of the brain is reduced. Yeah, so this is how we learned that, yes, Jumpy has or got. It said that, I think they don't already all have it, but somehow it's spreading to them, I think. When the body is infected with Radical 6, the processing speed of the brain is reduced. It says when the body is infected. That means that when you're infected, you will start to have those symptoms. meaning that he got infected towards the end of that true route. And then I think it germinates for a while, and then suicidal things, yay. So, I remember that one time where earlier on we did catch Quark. There was one time, I think, there was literally one route where I think, like, we saw Quark definitely exhibiting the processing speed stuff. Like, he literally said something like, everything you're saying is really fast, I can't hear it, or something like that, you know? And then, yeah, and that was, like, yeah, that lines up with this. It's like, when you get infected, your first symptoms are this weird timey-wimey thing, and then, yeah, once it progresses, I suppose. So, God, I hope that doesn't come into play towards the end of the game, but, like, the whole thing of the blackness thing, that seems to me to indicate that, like, there's some weird consciousness thing going on. Like, he doesn't really die that way. And I'm not sure what the hell. And also, like, the way that last ending ended, I'm very, like, he's, like, screamed and lost consciousness, and that there was blackness that he, like, opened his eyes to or something, so. I don't know why I'm trying to piece everything together. It's just your brain, or my brain, wants to do that. Every time there's a big, like, revelation in the story, there's some big hints about something. So I'm gonna try not to, like, talk about things that are not related to the virus very much here anymore. In fact, I am done with that topic, as far as, like, you know, Akane and everything. I just, But yeah, we know Alice can get it, we know Quark can get it, and we now know that Junpei, and we now know, I keep wanting to call Sigma Junpei even after playing the second game for this long, I don't know why. We now know that Sigma can also get it, so bit Dergy, there. Yeah, so there's this whole mathematical thing that is going straight over my head, and I'm not gonna read it. I'm only gonna read the parts that make any coherent sense to me. In fact, this is really all you need to know about this, I would imagine. This means that for each second that passes outside, the patient feels that only 0.408 seconds have passed inside. I do wonder what the hell made Uchikoshi come up with this convoluted idea. I wonder if there's some sort of mathematics or something concept about this that made him think about this. It's kind of like a weird form of time travel, not really though. It's just like the person's perception of time is traveling almost. It's very interesting. But yeah, you perceive the world as moving much faster than it is. It's basically what this boils down to. Cool. Again, I'm just refreshing about this so that I actually have it in my brain, hopefully. It was infected by Radical 6, eventually developed. Yep. One theory holds that the disparity in time perception causes the brain to be flooded with massive amounts of information. Unable to keep up, it begins to fail. Interesting. Whatever the cause, the infected invariably attempt to take their own life. Yeah, it's interesting because, like, this explanation has, like, I don't know if it doesn't line up, but, well, I'm gonna read the rest of the entry again before I get my thoughts out about it here. Take their own lives, which is arguably the most terrifying aspect of this virus. Research suggests that a targeted antiviral can kill. Yeah, okay, yeah, so, like, it's interesting because, like, Black Quark and like, I think they both have different ways of interpreting what causes the suicidal urges, or, like, things that make them want to kill themselves. Like, for Quark, it's, I need to get out of this body. That's what he kept saying, basically. I think he even used those exact words. And for Alice, it's like, we're going to die. They're terrorists. They're going to use the virus to kill everyone, or they're going to weaponize. They're going to use bioweapons or something, and everyone's going to die. I'd rather die here, and that's what causes her to want to kill herself. So it really just seems like whatever you're already worrying about, or I don't know. I have a feeling that both of those are important, like plot point related things that they're on about when they get like that. Anyway, bodies of those dead from suicide are piled up along the roads. Yeah, so that's all fun and great and wonderful. Yeah, so we're in one of those shelters. But it seems like the virus is reaching down here too, or something, I don't know. And yeah, we finally have Accelerator, which might allow us to cure Alice. I wonder if we'll have, like, some kind of choice that allows us to cure either... Well, honestly, actually, I just realized. Quark is the only one we know about having Radical 6 right now. Also, I just realized, we don't ever really see Alice having the time perception thing happen to her. We saw Quark having it once, I think, but we just immediately get the suicidal part for Alice's Radical 6, so I think that we might not be able to cure Alice and thus prevent her death, but we would be able to cure Quark. And I wonder what that might lead to. I wonder if Temioji might actually open up if he ends up being safe. We actually might fucking learn more about anything. Either way, I've stood in here and talked too long because I am me and I do that, and I'm working on trying not to do that so much. I'm swimming in them, they're not fish tanks. Yeah, what is that green shit? Do I even want to know? I don't think so. I think it's just supposed to be, this is a spooky laboratory, and it is. Like, why did I even activate that door? It didn't have a lock next to it. I don't know. I'm half awake, that's my answer. That is my excuse right now. As well as for the rambling, but I always ramble like this at the beginning, whenever there's like a big... Whenever I get a lot of an info dump from this game, because it really likes to hold on to these plot points for a while. And then, for some reason, this area is dense with it, but it makes sense because either Excelavir was made here, or Excelavir and the virus were made here. I think that both of those are extremely plausible. Look for the door. Right now it says lock. You guys ready? Yeah, let's do it. Just get it over with. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. I think some of us might be the people that were part of the Mars experiment that died. I mean, I've already said that.
Hey, hold on a minute.
Again, I'm gonna try not to speculate so much, but when the game gives us something, I want to extrapolate from it way too much. And then extrapolate from other things I've been thinking about, because this game makes me think a lot. This game in particular is really throwing me for a loop. I think it might be because I'm really getting into just the process and the fun of trying to figure shit out. But yeah, time to actually fucking read the visual novel that we're here to read.
There's something... Nah, I guess there's a couple of things I want to double check.
Yeah, Dio knows a lot about this stuff. I have a feeling he might have like been one of the scientists that like made this shit or something, or he might have been one of the people that were infected here and the people that were part of the thing. Like, interestingly enough, it seems like he seems kind of dumb so far with a lot of what he's doing, but what if he's actually really smart, at least about sciencey stuff? It seems really obvious from all the stuff here. I wonder if he might have made Excelavir himself.
Well, one of them's not really significant, I guess.
Huh?
First off, this machine.
Yeah, okay. I knew this was important. I realized towards the end of the last escape segment that this was not part of the puzzles, but I knew it had to be important.
We didn't even end up using this thing, did we?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
I was just wondering what it was.
Well, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to answer that. Look at the side here. There's a name or something. IG replicator. Oh no, we can make 2 Instagrams? One is already too stupid and ridiculous.
Replicator makes it sound like it makes copies of stuff.
So it's like a copy machine.
Yeah. Probably copies IG. Whatever that is.
Any ideas?
Who knows? Ice cream by the gallon?
Oh my god, please give me 2 gallons of ice cream right now. Of course! This machine must be here so we can just make all the ice cream we want. Are you nuts? I'm not even gonna read that whole sentence. Fuck you for that, Sigma. Like, I'm not too fond of Clover, especially the way she's acting here and how she tried to seduce him before. I find her cute and amusing and funny, but there's a lot of ways that she grates on me. But, like, I would not just call her an idiot, especially since she is actually pretty smart about some things. It's been clear about that. Oh my god! And he had to make a pun about it, too.
Oh, good one.
Wait, what? She just... Instead of being mad about that? That blows my mind because it's Clover. She gets mad at the drop of a hat for lots of reasons.
Hey, this isn't the time for stupid jokes.
I love how she literally just took that as a funny joke. I'm blown away by that for some reason because of how hot-headed she's been for other reasons. Again, she kind of feels out of character in here. I don't know what the hell that's about. Especially because she's nowhere near Alice and she doesn't know what's up with Alice. So it feels odd to me that she's acting like this in here. But, oh well.
There's a helpless child back there in the infirmary who needs our help.
Why the fuck do you even care? I almost guarantee you that that's what someone's gonna say something like in a second here, like either Clover or Sigma or both. Dio usually doesn't seem like he gives one shit, especially because when he was stuck, because this one seems rather out of character for him too, kind of, but not really. And again, I like him more here, the way he's represented here. It's weird, because I feel like Clover's represented weirdly in this room, and Dio's represented oddly in this room, but I like the difference here. I guess if you're cooperating with him, he's not as much of a dickbag, but if you could be against him for any reason, then I guess he just defaults to dickbag. That makes the most sense to me, honestly. But, like, I say that, but he also jumped to blaming Quark when they... And I would still say it was probably the Dio, though I don't know. Betrayed Sigma in one of the endings. Again, like, the endings are blending together right now, especially because part of me, I don't know how accurate this is at all, but, like, I kind of feel like we've already surpassed the amount of endings the first game had. So, I'm just over here like, man, this game's long, but I love it. Long and rather repetitious in a lot of ways, but not as far as rooms. That's nice. We have a lot more rooms to do, that's for sure. And I'm starting to really enjoy the process of doing the puzzles when I can. He was right, of course. I hang my head in shame.
At any rate, as long as we don't know what IG means, we can't do anything with this machine, right?
That's right.
Makes sense. On to the second issue. Sigma, you found a journal and some sort of vial in the safe, right? The vial.
Yeah.
Could you show it to me again?
Why?
I didn't really get a good look at it before. You guys were in there so close I could barely see it. Was it really Accelavir?
Yeah, definitely. As I spoke, I pulled the vial out of my pocket. See, it's written right there on the label. Accelavir.
You really are an idiot.
Huh?
Although I guess in this case, the G in IG stands for God.
What? I don't... The words were barely out of my mouth when he moved? Before I could blink, the vial disappeared. What? Why? Why would he steal it? What reason does he have? I guess we'll see. So yeah, okay, I guess he really is a dickbag in the end, but I bet he has a reason for that. I hope he has a better reason than Ace seemed to, but we'll see. Hey, what gives?
What are you doing?
Dio slipped the vial quickly into his coat.
Oh, don't worry. I'll keep it safe. I'll even give it back to you later.
No, not later. Give it back now.
I don't think so. If you want it back, you're gonna have to listen to my request.
Request?
Yeah, that's what I said. If you want this back, in the next
Okay, that's smart. But see, you know what's fucking sinister about this? I will commend Ushikoshi if he doesn't choose Betray. Because in his position, and what we've seen from him so far, if we do ally, because I almost guarantee you that's exactly what he's about to say. If not, I'll be very shocked. If we do ally, it seems like he'd be the one to say Betray. He's got the result he wanted anyway, so he's just gonna get more points out of it, right? Doesn't give a fuck about us, right? Interesting, I like this guy a little more. Man, he's really slimier than I even thought. Maybe he was cooperating with us so deliberately in order for us to let our guard down. Actually. Man, I don't know, man. Dio's slimy as fuck. And honestly, I like him as a character. I hate him as a person, but I like him as a character. I'm sure most of you can probably relate to that. Like, there's probably some villain you really like as a character. Like, the way they're represented and how cool they are or whatever, or what, you know. Like, just like how they're written, right? But you fucking would hate them if they're a person. That's what this feels like to me. Like, this is literally good writing, but fuck this dude. Because that's exactly what the writing wants you to think and feel. So it did its job.
You have to choose ally.
I thought so. But yeah, I think he's gonna choose Betray no matter what. But again, I'm gonna choose ally just because I'm really curious. Is he gonna choose Betray or not? I guess we'll see. If it's confirmed that he could get 9 points if he betrayed, then I almost guarantee you that we're gonna get an ending after this. But we'll see. Ally. Wait, is that why you took the medicine? To blackmail me?
Horrible!
Clover, I know you're not in this situation currently, but considering the thing you did in one ending, you have no fucking right to say this.
You're using Quark's life as leverage!
Well, yeah, that is scummier than using a man's libido for leverage, but still, that's also scummy.
Well, I've got some really good reasons to do so.
I really fucking wonder what those are. I have a feeling he's not lying there.
I'll be happy to give it back if you just do what I say.
I didn't realize until they started to hurt that I'd curled my hands into fists. If Dio would only give me an opening.
I wouldn't try and take it back by force if I were you. You make any sudden moves and I'll smash it.
Okay. Again, part of me is like, why would he destroy it? Because that way he has leverage against Tenmyoji, for example. Because of Quark. And I don't think he knows this, but he would also have leverage against Alice too. Or at least Clover, maybe. If it's confirmed that she also has Radical 6, and she hasn't killed herself yet. Just like it has been in several endings now. Patted his pocket gently. So I don't know if he'd actually do that, but it's definitely clever enough tactic to give anyone pause in Sigma's situation, I think. I think it would be smarter to not chance it, honestly. Especially with how brazen Dio has been. I mean, well, with stealing it, for example, but in other ways.
Oh, and one more thing. Don't tell those other idiots that you found some Excelavir in here. I hear one word about it, and the next thing you hear will be little bits of glass shattering on the floor.
Damn it.
That's not fair.
This game isn't about compassion. It's not about being clever. It's about one thing. How well you can manipulate people to your advantage. How unfair you can be.
Okay. Yeah, he's just a scumbag. Okay. I thought so. But, like, I'm really wondering, man. It's interesting because I would honestly feel like a lot of people would fucking disagree with this. And I think the point, or one point at least, which Jikoshi might be trying to make with this game, is that this is Dio's perspective. He believes it entirely, but other people probably think that the other two things he mentioned are the exact actual purpose of the game. It's all about perspective. And because of his perspective, he's going to be a dickhead about it. Because of other people's perspectives, they might not be. Like, literally, he can't actually know what the actual point of the game is unless he's actually working with Zero. Because the point isn't how you go about it, the point is what Zero wants to do with this. Which is probably changing something with morphogenetic fields. And if it's not anything like that, I will be very surprised. But anyway, interesting. But also, fuck this man. And again, that's a compliment to the writing in this situation, in my opinion.
So, what are you gonna do?
I'm going to flip you off. I am flipping off the screen right now, guys. And then I'm going to press the button to continue.
Ready to promise me you'll pick Ally?
Man, I will, because I'm curious whether he'll just say betray. Because why would he not? Especially considering what he just said. I'm really just like, I don't know why, I'm just really curious. If he picks Ally, maybe that means he's putting on a facade, but he just thinks that he needs to do this to survive? Because maybe he really does have a daughter. I still half feel like he pulled that right out of his ass, but I don't know. I think he said he had a daughter, or at least a kid, to K in order to get him to do stuff. And it seems very much like Dio for that kid to not exist, but I have this feeling there's more to Dio than meets the eye, especially because he's been very tight-lipped about really anything about himself, really. Especially because I don't know if the ringleader thing is really right or not. I think that could also be a lie. Like, a completely fabricated lie, and he's something else, but I don't know. His outfit is definitely ringleadery, but what does that mean? Fine. I promise.
Sigma!
Oh, I knew you'd say it eventually. I'm glad you understand how this works.
How about you go fuck yourself, asshole?
But don't think about trying anything funny. Break your promise and, well, you know what happens.
How about you go fuck yourself?
See you chumps later.
Dio, how about you go fuck yourself, asshole?
I'm really looking forward to the next round.
How about... Okay. With one last self-satisfied chuckle, Dio started out of the room like the complete asshole he is. God, I
really
love
going
that
to do
because
what
of
he
how much
says?
I hate him. That was a good scene. Oh man, I don't know. Man, this game's great. God damn it. Yeah.
Sigma, You've only got 1 BP.
Oh, fuck, man. Oh, God. Oh, shit. I completely forgot about that. Or, yeah. I forgot entirely that I had 1. Are we just gonna fucking die here? If he doesn't just... I mean, okay, well. If I was Dio, people are already suspicious of him, right? Now I have to pick ally, though. I fucking have to. Because, regardless, he has the power to kill us in there. Regardless. If he picks Betray, no matter what we do, it's over for us. Like, no matter what we fucking do. If he picks Betray, we're dead. So, like, what I'm wondering is, what's going through his head right now in regards to picking Betray? I'm wondering if he is willing to risk retaliation for being a murderer from everyone else. Because he's been very self-serving, extremely. So I don't know if even as much of a scumbag as he just made himself seem, if he'd really risk that, even if just for selfish reasons. I'm wondering if he's actually evil and brazen enough to literally think that because he has the Accelavir, he could worm his way out of repercussions for killing Sigma that way. But again, if that happens, we won't really know what happens after that, will we? I'm really wondering. Man, I really want to know what the hell he's gonna do, so I'm gonna stop rambling. I don't know why, but I love this scene and this segment. It plays with the rules of the game really well, and the psychology of Dio especially right now. I really like this scene for some reason.
If we choose ally, and he chooses Betray...
I know. It'll drop to -1, and that means I'll get penalized.
But that means...
Well, we don't actually know. We do not actually know, Clover. In fact, you'd know that better than most of these people. Because you've been through the first Notary game, and the first 2, and you realize that in that second one, Akane did not make the bracelets, or I guess Santa did it all, but like, they did not make the bracelets of anyone else but the people involved in the original experiment, and thus the original Notary game explode. So she knows better than everyone that the bracelets could be a lie. But considering she doesn't seem to think Akane's the one behind this one, she's probably erring on the side of caution, and I think that's smart. But again, I think that again, like the first game, at least some, maybe even all, of the bracelets don't actually do the thing. Because, well, we did learn that the morphogenic fields thing only needs, like, the illusion of danger. Like, that's enough to make the morphogenic fields happen, basically. So, it very well could be that the bracelets won't actually kill them, and I have a feeling that's not the case. That the bracelets won't actually kill. They might actually inject people, but what if the stuff inside isn't actually harmful? Or if there's maybe even anything inside the bracelets of at least some of the people here, which might include Sigma. I think that's possible. Because of the fact that, yes, while we did see that, I think it was Clover and Tamioji were injected in that one ending where everyone else died, basically. The lead up to the true ending. I do believe it is. Pretty sure I even, like, read that while I was trying to figure out what the hell to do there. And then I realized I was stepping into super spoiler territory, and then I wanted to at least figure that out by myself. And apparently you need to do all the other endings for that. But anyway, thinking a variable could be that because there was an ambiguity as to if they even died from the poison in their particular death situation. I think that signifies to me that the bracelets aren't actually at least all deadly, just like in the first game. But I guess we might even see here, won't we? Look, it's not like I want to, alright? If we don't do as he says, then he'll destroy the medicine. If he does that, then Quark will.
So you're going to die to save his life? That's... Why would you do that?
Because I'm a human being with a heart? In all honesty, I was terrified. My choice was far from a foregone conclusion. Well, we should get back to the upper floor. Everybody else is probably finished already. I bet they're waiting for us. I didn't wait for Clover's response. Thirsty Derg. Thirsty boy. Thirsty boy. Drink water, friends. This is very important. That's my Dergy dehydration PSA wagon.
An ambidex gate has been opened. 45 minutes remain until ambidex game polling closes.
Sorry, I went ahead and cracked it open a bit early.
Yeah, you always do that, asshole. Dio. I wonder if he always comes back from this door with the Accelavir and does this to the people in there. In one of his hands was a moon key. He twirled it around like a veteran gambler, grinned, and slid it back into his pocket.
You don't mind, right?
How about you go fuck yourself really hard?
I figured you and Clover would get up here right away. Besides, I thought it'd be best to get this done soon before you lose your nerve. I don't know about you. I'm really looking forward to the next round.
I just really hope he gets his if he does kill me. But I have this feeling he doesn't really actually want to kill Sigma. Again, probably just to save his own ass. But yeah, again, I hope so. Or else this is going to be a short ending and I might actually end it here because this has been an awful thing for me. Both just, you know, dumping all of my thoughts about the game that I've had yesterday, which is a lot, and then also fucking this plot revelation. Like, unless they're in the warehouse. Alice and Kay were back. As was Phi. And, of course, Clover. Where are Tenmyoji and the rest of them?
They're in the infirmary.
We carried Quark to one of the beds. Tenmyoji and Luna are looking after him.
I see.
How's he doing? Well, it's hard to say. He seems to be sleeping soundly, but beyond that, there's really no way to know.
No change then, huh?
Right.
So what was your room, Sigma?
A laboratory.
Is that so?
Did it look like the kind of place where they'd be researching viruses and DNA and those kinds of things?
She knows about it. She knows about the virus. She really fucking does. She even mentioned that when she went nuts-a-reno.
Yeah, it did. Was there any of that Accelavir?
Fuck you, Dio! That's all I gotta say about this, because we have to lie to her. Fuck that. Ugh, fuck. I hate that man so much, dude. Because good writing.
Don't tell those other idiots that you found some Accelavir in here.
How about you go fucking kill yourself, you piece of shit?
I hear one word about it, and the next thing you hear will be little bits of glass shattering on the floor.
I'd like to hear your fucking neck cracking, dickhead. I'm sorry for being so close to the mic for those. I needed to do that. My eyes flicked to Dio for a moment, and then I flipped him off. No, nothing. Fuck this man. I wasn't expecting to be so emotionally oof for this particular route, but all the ends have the potential to be ultra mega oof. I should have prepared my anus for that, but I did not. Beside me, Clover bit her lip.
I see.
So how'd it go with you? Found anything interesting? Vi only shook her head. With a unison of movement that almost looked choreographed, Alice and Kay shrugged.
Where does that leave us? We've still got about 40 minutes left until voting ends.
What are you gonna do?
I'm a little curious about that lab you found. I thought I might go take a peek at it.
I'll show you the way then.
That would be wonderful.
And tell her about the Accelavir! At least her!
I think I'll go have a look at the room Alice, Kay, and Tenmyoji found. Never know. Maybe you missed something. Perhaps there's some Accelavir hidden somewhere in there.
How about you can fucking kill yourself, asshole? Ugh, what a bastard.
Then I shall take you there.
What about you two? Where are you going?
I'll ruminate about how to kill Dio. Well, I think I'll start by heading over to the infirmary to see how Quark's doing.
Then I will too.
Glad that's settled.
She nodded to Clover, and they disappeared through the magenta door. Tell her about the Excel. She's gonna do it, so I don't think I even need to say that. Dio and Kay followed a few footsteps behind. Although, well, he might be trying to make sure she doesn't. Okay then, I guess we should be going too.
Hold on.
Vi's smart, and she's good at observing. She picked up something was off there, didn't she?
Show me that journal first. Dio told me about it. He wouldn't tell me anything about the lab, except that you found a journal with, his words, some sort of bullshit language.
Okay, yeah, now we're gonna actually learn what the contents of the journal were. For some reason, I think she can read it.
You said you had it, so I was hoping I could take a look.
And if she can read it, I think y'all know what I'm about to say, but that, to me, feels like another point in the she's a golem column for me. Golem column. Rhymes. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. Yeah, one sec. I dug the journal out of my pocket and handed it to Fi. She began to flip through the pages, her eyes quickly scanning each one.
This is Latin.
Yeah, I thought so. Latin? You mean you can read it?
Yeah, with time and a dictionary.
So in other words, no.
Pardon me for not being able to translate a dead language on the fly. This looks like some kind of research log. It's not gonna be some sort of, I took the dog for a walk today.
Oh my god. I think I remember. Is she the one that voiced Aegis in Persona 3? I think I remember I researched and found that she had. I'm pretty damn sure that I'm right about that, because that is the most Aegis sounding thing I've ever heard from not Aegis's mouth. Oh man, and if Aegis is a robot, and Fi is kind of rather monotone herself, what if they got the person that voiced Aegis for the part because she's a fucking golem? Okay, I'm done for now. I love that I put that together just now. That is extremely Aegis-y. I forgot that she voiced Aegis, but again, I forgot most of the roles that I looked up earlier in the playthrough of the voice actors that are in this game, but I'm pretty sure I remember that there was a pretty big Persona connection between a lot of them.
Kind of
and
stuff.
that I'm pretty sure I remember her being in Persona for something. So she probably voiced Aegis. I don't even know why I'm second guessing myself. That sounded too much like Aegis for it not to be her. Anyway.
I can understand a little of it. Mostly conjunctions and things like that. But most of these words I've never even seen before.
I started to leaf through the book again as she spoke. Then suddenly she stopped.
Wait. I can read this one. Page 216. This isn't research notes. It looks like a personal entry.
What's it say?
Don't rush me. This is gonna take a minute.
Wait, so she knows enough about Latin to translate some of it? That's interesting, and I wonder why. Though I think it might be because she's a sciencey type. She might actually also have been involved with the research because she knows a lot about some of this sciencey stuff behind all of this.
Interesting. All right, I think I got it. It looks like they're talking about Radical 6.
Mm-hmm. What? Why are they talking about that?
I'm not sure. Let me read it to you. Keep in mind I'm paraphrasing.
When the body isn't... Yeah, okay, yeah. Here we go. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep doing that. It's gonna spoil some plot things, but I like to have the information beforehand to ruminate about. And I like for the convenience of recording and doing this Let's Play, of just being able to dump the entries at the end of the room that I found them in, so yeah. I'll keep doing that. Also, woof. Very creepy bell music. This is one of the particularly horrifying tracks, especially very fitting for this entry, especially the third one. I'm pretty sure this will be word for word. When the body's infected with Radical 6, the processing speed of the brain is reduced. If we assume the brain currently operates on a 1-to-1 basis with regards to time, Radical 6 reduces this to 1 to... Maybe it's like the power of 6 or 1 to 16? I don't know what most of these symbols mean. Again, I didn't really get any math beyond Algebra 1, and I barely finished Algebra 1 in high school. Or approximately numbers and things. I don't know how to even read that, frankly. This means that for each second that passes outside, the patient feels that only 0.408 seconds have passed inside. Therefore, when 1 second is passed inside, approximately 2.45 seconds, or to the power of 6 seconds, maybe? Again, I've heard that term before, and I don't know if it's associated with that checkmark thing at all, but it feels like it makes sense there, so there we go. Maybe I subconsciously knew that it was the symbol for to the power of, but I don't consciously know that. Anyway, have passed outside. In other words, when 10 seconds pass in the real world, here we go. I'd rather it skip all the math and just say this. A patient infected with Radical 6 feels as if only 4 seconds had passed. In fact, I'm pretty sure this is better explained and a little bit different than the entries themselves, so I'm glad I'm reading this. I'm not just skipping it, because I was going to at first. This is why the virus has been termed Radical 6. Radical is another term for what is also known as the root operation, the function inverse to the taking of a power, whatever the fuck that means. In a less mathematical sense, thank you, it can also be used to refer to something that is extreme or severe. Those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide. The exact cause of this is unclear, and although there is as yet no direct link between suicidal urges and the reduction in mental processing speed, many believe that they are not unrelated. Those infected with Radical 6 perceive the world to be moving at a fever pitch, as if it were a video cassette being fast-forwarded. Yeah, and we saw firsthand what that looks like from Sigma's perspective in that one ending. For instance, although the patient believes that only 10 seconds have passed, in fact 24.5 seconds have passed. Given this increased speed of input, maintain the ability to observe and reason would become a Herculean... Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. It's like, it just makes you completely insane. One theory holds that the disparity in time perception causes the brain to be flooded with massive amounts of information. Unable to keep up, it begins to fail. Whatever the cause, the infected invariably attempt to take their own lives, which... invariably. So it seems that we might wrestle with suicidal urges ourselves toward the end of the game. That's oof. Especially, I would imagine, for people that have struggled with that in real life. I might have to do a suicide warning on one of these episodes. Oh boy. Actually, wait, well, if I was gonna do that, I probably should have done it, you know, the times that Quark and Alice had those kinds of things happen. But, whoops. Whatever the cause, the infected invariably attempt to take their own lives, which is arguably the most terrifying aspect of this virus. Research suggests that a targeted antiviral could kill or at least disable Radical 6, but we have been unable to develop one. It seems our best hope now is to harvest antibodies from someone with a natural immunity to the virus. Thus far, however, we have been unable to locate a suitable subject, so I have continued my efforts to discover an alternative means of treatment. Given my current rate of progress, I predict that I will have a workable treatment within a decade or two. It is my fervent hope that humanity will be able to survive that long. The bodies of those dead from suicide are piled up along the roads leading into and out of town. The entire area reeks with the stench of decay, and the sky is filled with the constant buzzing of flies. At times, their swarms are so thick that when one passes, it feels as if a cloud has gone over the sun. This music is very fitting for this paragraph, oh god. Every day I see more crows, and rats are everywhere, feeding on the dead. In fact, when I started to hear this music, my brain went, oh yeah, that's why they had the music for this, because this is horrifying. Like, these paragraphs right here. Ironically, the only healthy-looking creatures are the stray cats who have grown fat on the plentiful rodent diet. The few humans who survived the outbreak have been locked away by the government in underground shelters. I don't know how many were saved, but I fear only a handful. Their survival is the only hope that remains for the human race. Oh Lord, please, let their future be a bright one. So they says, that's fun. That's fun as hell. So yeah, we've already suspected that. Whoa, that's a lot of information. Now we know what the virus does to you, though. Speaking of a lot of information, that's basically what it does to you. Just on an extreme scale. If you get infected, your brain slows down by the root of 1/6, thank you. That's... what, about 40%?
That isn't the important part. Those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide.
Yeah, you're right. That would explain why Quark was, well, trying to kill himself.
There are two other things in here that worry me. First, the part about how they haven't managed to develop a treatment for it yet. What do you make of that?
What am I supposed to make of it? Maybe they just hadn't found one when this journal was written? I mean, from what we know, there's a drug called Excelivir that cures it.
Exactly. But in the journal it says it might take 20 years to make something like that.
Hold on a second. I'm getting confused. When was this thing even written?
December 29th. No year.
Well, there's no way it was written this year.
Yeah, probably not. Anyway, moving on. The second concern I have is about the underground shelters it mentions. The newspaper article said something about quarantining people too. After we read it, we all thought the same thing. What if this was one of those quarantine facilities? But this journal seems to suggest the opposite.
Wait, really? How?
A few humans who survived the outbreak have been locked away by the government in underground shelters.
You're trying to say that this place might be one of those underground shelters. Which would mean we're all supposed to be uninfected. Okay. Got it. That's why. I didn't put that together. We would have been thrown in here to keep us safe.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to say for sure at this point, but it seems possible.
But Quark's been infected, right?
Then maybe the virus got in somehow.
That would be bad.
Just think about it for a minute. If this is one of those shelters, a lot of things start to make sense. Maybe we've been here for a long time. Like, maybe they put us to sleep somehow. Made us sleep for years, maybe even decades.
And that would explain the 20 years thing for sure.
While we were sleeping, the pandemic that the newspaper article talked about happened. And whoever had this journal made this entry.
And then once the antiviral treatment was finished, they woke us up?
Right. It's all just speculation, but...
No, that doesn't make sense. I mean, it seems like a pretty plausible scenario, but... we were all captured before the pandemic started, right?
Yeah.
And how would they have put us to sleep for that long? How would they have known how to do that? But most importantly, why the hell are we playing the notary game if the point of this place is to save us? Throwing a bunch of people into a game that might kill them is a pretty weird way to protect them from a pandemic.
Yeah, you're right.
See? Fi's really smart. I like how she seems to respect
We
Sigma
don't have enough
by
information
now in
to make any
story
real
in general.
conclusions.
Because they seem to have some pretty good back and forth about this stuff.
I think we should see if we can find anything else.
Fi had barely finished speaking before she took off for the magenta door. Hey, weren't you coming to the infirmary with me?
I've changed my mind. You can tell me about Quark later.
And with that, where's she going? I'm wondering. I don't think she told him at all. She was gone. Man. I had a long, tired sigh and started off toward the infirmary. And I flipped off in the direction of I flipped off the door that Dio went through while I was at it. Aaron, how's he doing?
He seems to be stable, Master.
Still sleeping.
Whoops. He seems to be stable. I think she said as far as I know. I have been doing a lot of accidentally talking over people and skipping people today, especially accidentally talking over people. Whoops, sorry. Some of that's probably going to end up in the final video. Sorry about that. I see. Mind if I have a look?
Please, go ahead.
I made my way around the partition to the side of Quark's bed. The journal and the thing Fi and I had talked about would definitely need to be addressed, but for the moment the AB game is what I needed to concentrate on. Okay, before I actually continue here, I need to quickly interject, hopefully quickly interject some thoughts I had. I know this is a random place in the episode to do it, but I had to get up and do some stuff, and I had a lot of thoughts about the revelations so far in this part of the game that have happened, so I just realized, it just clicked with me for some reason, that, like, what if the purpose of this particular nonary game is to retroactively prevent the spread of Radical 6, similarly to how the purpose of the the notary game that took place in 999, in order to not confuse it with the actual first notary game, was to retroactively not let Akane die in the actual first notary game. So what I'm thinking is that, again, this is, again, like I always had a feeling this entire notary game had something to do with the morphogenetic fields and what they're basically trying to change the past. But in this case, it's preventing the spread of the virus. And again, I find it funny that I decided to play this game after 2020 because it's about a pandemic and I didn't even realize that. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. It makes a lot of sense considering everything here. So what if the person that made Excelivir and made that journal, they made Excelivir for the purpose of somehow using this notary game in order to, like, have it so that the disease was starting to be cured when it was spreading or something? Now, obviously, this doesn't make much sense if this was reality, but it's obvious that in this setting, this stuff works. So, yeah, I have a feeling it's something about like that. I made my way around the partition to the side of Quark's bed. The journal and the thing Fi and I talked about would definitely need to be addressed, but for the moment, the AB game is what I needed to concentrate on. Lives are at stake, mine and Quark's. Those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide, which is really oof. If the journal was telling the truth, then as soon as the anesthetic wore off, Quark would go insane again. What if we weren't able to restrain him a second time? What if he managed to kill himself before we got to him? Or perhaps he'd just get out of the infirmary and go hide somewhere. On the other hand, it wasn't like we could keep anesthetizing him forever. There was only one way to save Quark, and that was with Excelivir. But fortunately, Dio had stolen it. If we wanted to get it back, Clover and I would have to vote ally. But if we did, there was an excellent chance I would end up dead. I think we should betray, but I'm wondering if he doesn't just kill us. Why? Because he certainly would be able to. So I'm gonna pick ally just because I'm really curious as to what Dio does. And I would hope that we might see some sort of consequences for him if he were to do that, but considering the game's from Sigma's perspective and he would be dying, I doubt it, but yeah. The question was then, what to do? Sacrifice myself to save Quark, or keep quiet about the danger he was in to save myself? Oof, man. It was so faint I almost didn't hear it. Okay, that sounds like a
Grandpa. Grandpa.
He shifted a little, then fell silent again. It was enough, though. What on earth had I been thinking? How could I have been even considered letting a child die in my place? Yeah, oof, man. Suddenly my cheeks fell out with embarrassment and disgust. That I had considered letting Quark die even for a minute was pathetic. There was only one choice. There had only ever been one choice. Well, I mean, granted, you could try to take the Excelivir from Dio. I think he's pretty good on his word there, because he's enough of a scumbag to do what he said he would if we tried that. No way was I gonna leave Quark to die. My hands tightened into fists as I looked down at them. And the uncertainty I'd felt before was gone. I knew what I had to do.
Ten minutes remain until Ambidex game polling closes. All players, please enter your votes. If no vote is recorded before the deadline has passed, any non-voting parties will automatically ally.
Looks like it's almost time. You two should head back.
What about you?
Not going.
Yeah.
I'm worried about Quark.
But you're a solo. If you don't vote...
I'll automatically ally. I know. I heard the voice on the intercom just like you.
What are you gonna do if Kay and Alice vote betray?
Nothing, I suppose. Just means I lost that round. I'd just be voting ally anyway. You know who my opponents are, right? Alice only has one BP left. If I pick betray and they chose ally, I'd kill her. I'm not so desperate to escape that I'm gonna kill someone for it.
The question is Dio desperate enough for that? I'm sure it's intentional, and I really like the fact that this mirrors our situation. He's on the other side of that coin. But it's been clear that Tenmyoji has a heart, even if he is rather prickly. But yeah, it's been pretty clear that Dio doesn't, but I have this feeling that he may not have a complete lack of one, but I think it might be pretty close, mostly.
And even if I was, I can't leave Quark behind. You see? Doesn't matter if I go into the AB room or not. My vote's the same either way.
I really like his very gravelly voice. I'm pretty sure the voice actor is quite a bit younger than Tenmyoji is in actual in the story. There we go. I was trying to figure out a phrase that made the most sense there, but I'm like the voice he's putting on is very old man-y. I don't know what else to say about that. I don't know how else to communicate that. Tenmyoji's mind was made up. Trying to persuade him to leave would have been pointless. All right, take care of Quark.
Of course. You worry about yourself.
Yeah, see, he cares, but I don't think Dio does, man. Okay, this really feels like they're saying goodbye to us before we die. Like, there's the fucking piano. There's this. Though, granted, they don't know we're probably gonna die. And, like, if Dio doesn't end up just killing us, then I would be surprised. But again, we're gonna see. This ending is stoof, man. But we've got plenty more to do after this. This game is ridiculous with the amount of endings it has. Luna and I headed out of the infirmary, leaving Tenmyoji and Quark behind. When we got to the warehouse, we found everyone else waiting for us. Well, not quite everyone. One other person was missing. Hey, where's Dio?
Take a look at the doors.
They're all closed. When we came in here before, the one on the far right was open.
And that would mean...
That he went in, I guess.
Exactly.
Bastard. He'd probably been worried I might try and take the Excelivir from him by force, so he'd hidden himself in the AV room. What a coward. I made up my mind to choose Ally no matter what, but... part of me'd still consider trying to jump Dio if he dropped his guard. Now I've made sure I wouldn't get the chance to try.
Where's Tenmyoji?
Oh,
Luna explained Tenmyoji's choice.
I see. Well, I guess that means I don't have to worry about him picking Betray.
right. What will you guys be choosing then?
Ally, of course.
See, yeah, Alice definitely... Although granted, will she really? But she seems pretty honest. It's interesting because we've had a lot of run-ins with her earlier game where she didn't trust us enough that she chose Betray. At least I think I remember that. So don't quote me on it. Maybe it's just all the times that we did that one route, which is after we ended up betraying her, I think. But anyway.
Because my BP is 6, I assume.
Yes. As long as Tenmyoji votes Ally, I can't choose Betray. If I do, K's BP will go up to 9.
The whole AB game and the rules and everything it's so interesting to me because it's an interesting, like, psychological idea. Like, you know, there's so many factors as to if you would choose Ally or Betray. And the game really explores that. I really like it. It's interesting.
But what if he forces you?
You needn't worry. I would never do something so crass.
Really?
Of course.
Then you don't need to go in there.
Excuse me?
Alice can, then we don't have anything to worry
Interesting.
about, right?
Vi really does not trust Kay, and I have a feeling there might be more to why than she's expressed. Though I wonder what the hell that would be if that's the case, but I think it is.
Well, I apologize, but I'm afraid I can't agree to that.
Why not?
I just can't.
The thing is that I feel like this is probably intentional on behalf of the writer. So probably Uchikoshi, but I'm not sure exactly who wrote, like, everything in the game, if it was really him, or if at least he had editors, I'm not sure. But I feel like it's intentional that you're supposed to really be on the fence about Kay. Because I feel like there's just as many things that seem rather honorable and thus trustable that he does, and there are things that he does and says that are a little suspect, so it really feels like you're supposed to not know what to think about this man, but considering Fi seems to have a lot of reason to not trust him, I have a feeling there's probably more truth to that than him being trustable, though I haven't really seen a lot of evidence in his actions of that yet.
Shall we go, Alice?
Hey, hold on a minute there.
Kay continued briskly toward the AB room as if he simply hadn't heard Fi. Interesting, I don't feel like he's been this defiant before as well, so that's actually one of the more suspect things I feel like he's done. But like I said, most of the time he's rather amiable in general. Alice scrambled to follow him, perhaps concerned that he would lock her out. I wonder why he's so vehement about it, though. Maybe he's afraid she'll pick Betray, or maybe he wants to, and I don't know why he would. Only seconds later, they disappeared into the third room from the left.
I hope Alice is going to be okay.
Well, there's nothing we can do now. If Kay told the truth, she'll be fine.
5 minutes remain until Ambidex game polling closes.
Time's almost up. Come on, Luna.
Right.
They headed off at a trot toward the second room from the right, and were soon out of sight inside of it. Alright, Clover, time for us to go.
Oh, okay. Right behind you.
Clover hug. I sighed to myself and headed toward the leftmost AB room.
What are you gonna do?
I don't really have a choice, do I? There's only one thing I can do. I'm going to choose Ally.
You can't! You'll die!
Well, you never know. Although considering this sad piano that just happened, I think she's right. Just because Dio told us to Ally doesn't necessarily mean he's going to pick Betray. Although, I would say that most of what he's done has pointed to that.
Do you really think a jerk like that is going to choose Ally if he doesn't have to? No. No way! He's got 6 BP right now. If he picks Betray, then he'll have 9 points!
Oh my god, yeah. Ooh, boy. See, I had a feeling that would be the problem, but I'm still gonna pick Ally because I do wonder, like, what will actually happen there, and maybe we might get some sort of hint by doing that.
Huh?
You've got 6 BP too, right? If Dio chooses Ally and we choose Betray, if Dio chose Ally and we choose Betray, then you'd have 9 BP.
What?
Oh gosh.
No, that's not...
Hmm.
I didn't even realize that until you brought it up.
Interesting. See, part of me feels like I should trust her on that, but considering the other ending where she would have 9, and also she got a chance to talk with Alice in private just now, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure she is trying to escape here, because I'm pretty sure Alice would have given her the order again.
I'm just trying to tell you that Dio is going to pick Betray. That's who he is.
And I'm not trying to tell you that I've made up my mind. That's who I am. The only choice is Ally. That's the only chance we have to get that medicine back.
That's why Dio called you an IG. What makes you think he's going to give us the Excelavir, even if you do what he says?
Maybe he won't, but I can guarantee that he'll destroy it if I pick Betray. That's who he is.
Fine.
And see, I kind of agree with both of them. Again, this game is really good at moral dilemmas like this. That's like the whole point of it, and I love it and hate it.
If you aren't gonna listen to me, then I guess I don't have a choice. I'll be pushing that button.
Oh, I was wondering if this would ever happen. I think it's finally gonna happen. Someone else, like, you know, in a pair situation, I was surprised that so far we have not had any other half of the pair press the button for us yet. But in this situation, it makes a lot of sense for Clover especially to do that. Huh? Before I realized what was... Oh yeah, we don't even have a choice here. Interesting. I was, like, at this point, I was expecting that to never happen. Because there were other points where I thought we wouldn't have a choice, but we did. Well, we'll see. Before I realized what was going on, Clover ducked past me and ran toward the voting machine. No, stop. I snatched her by the arm and... Okay, never mind. Hold backward with all my strength.
Ow!
Sorry. So it was a little too hard, huh?
Hey! What do you think you're doing? You can't just throw a girl around like that.
Well, you're the one who tried to trick me.
But you're gonna die! Dio's going to kill you! You can't do this! I don't want you to die.
It's really interesting because I honestly feel like she really doesn't want us to die. But there have been other points where she's essentially left us to die, except I don't think she really thought that because, you know, that one ending. I think she thought she was gonna get help, but... So I don't know what to believe here, really, about her actual intentions. Especially because I don't really know if Alice gave her the order this time, because I just remembered that... I think she specifically said, where, you know, we had the flashback of Alice giving her the order, she said specifically it was because she had 1 BP that Clover had to do anything to get out. And so, I don't think Alice has 1 BP right now. Don't quote me, I don't think she does. So I don't know if she gave her the order this time, so Clover might actually be 100% genuine, though I don't know. And with Clover, it's hard for me to believe her on something like this, but, Thanks. It means a lot to hear you say that, Clover. I gave her my best reassuring nod and turned to face the polling machine. Okay, so no, we do have a choice. At this point, yeah, they're always going to give us the choice because the game functions on these choices. Like, the way to the true end is going through all the paths by choosing Ally and Betray at different points. So, I should have figured that despite this conflict that we would get the choice. Oh, that's right. I need to save beforehand. Oh, no, I don't because of the flowchart system. It does also kind of feel like Ushikoshi to trick us by using the piano, and then we pick Ally and we don't die. But we'll see. Also, this will either confirm or deny my suspicions about the bracelets, too. So let's do it. Because either the drugs kill us or they don't if he chooses Betray. Because there has not been confirmation that the drugs actually kill us, or if the drugs are even in the bracelets.
Round 2 of the Ambidex game has been completed. Results will be displayed in the warehouse. Thank you for your participation. Ambidex gates now opening.
Okay, Alright, we'll see. Clover and I stepped out of the AB room. For several long moments, we just stared at one another. Words weren't necessary. Everything she would have tried to tell me, I could already see in her eyes. Let's go. I turned to head toward the results screen.
Sigma.
I heard it from behind me, her voice barely louder than a whisper. The choice was already made. I stood up straight and kept walking. I'm wondering what happens as well, because, like, if you don't die right then, if you chose betray, then would the drugs inject me now? Like, after the results? Yeah, I thought so. Okay, we're either gonna die or the drugs don't work. This is a very important ending because it's gonna confirm several things that we need to know.
Results from round
And I think
2
that might actually
of the
open up some of the other,
game
like,
will
locks on some of the
now
other
be
endings.
displayed.
This game is genius in how it works. I thought that about 999 as well, but I think this game is even more genius about it. Which I guess you would hope from a sequel like this, wouldn't you?
What?
Sigma's BP is...
Negative.
Suddenly, all eyes were on me. I felt their weight, but stood my ground. It was the result I had expected. I took a deep breath and closed my eyes. I didn't have to wait long. There we go. There was a sharp... Okay, so yes. Alright, I thought that the drugs would start ejecting the person that had negative BP as soon as the choice was made, but no. It's as soon as the results are revealed. Okay. There was a sharp, quick pain in my wrist, barely even noticeable. I couldn't feel anything flowing into my veins. Did you know it was there? I couldn't feel anything flowing into my veins, but I knew it was there. First would be the anesthetic Soparil. Blinked and my vision... Okay, yeah, he is getting sleepy. I blinked and my vision started to blur. When I tried to think, it felt like my mind has been stuffed with cotton. My legs had began to wobble, then gave out entirely as I crumpled to the floor. Reading this kind of stuff always kind of makes me feel it. It's always like, ugh.
Sigma, hang on. Hey, Sigma, get up.
Sigma!
Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no.
Trying to open my eyelids was like trying to lift sheets of lead. My eyes had lost the ability to focus, but I could make out a blur that had to be Dio in front of the number 9 door. Yeah. Damn it. You'll keep your promise, goddammit. I groaned and with a Herculean effort lifted my head, then my sluggish body off the floor. Oh, interesting. Every step was a battle, and whenever I shifted my weight, my muscles started to give out again. Somehow I forced myself ahead, a single thought burning in my mind. I would reach Dio, then at last. The smudge of color faded into a recognizable person. I throw out my hand in front of him. Give it back. Give me the medicine.
Back? Don't act like it's yours. Aren't we supposed to share everything we find here?
Christ, he really is just a bastard. I didn't actually think he would be. I don't care. Just hand me the medicine.
What are you talking about?
We found the Excelivir in the laboratory.
And Dio stole it.
What?
You mean he has it right now?
Yeah. So?
I kept my promise. Now you. I wasn't a fool. I knew the kind of person Dio was. But assuming anything about anyone in this game has burned me before, so I don't tend to do that like Sigma does. And like most people probably tend to do. There was a chance he wouldn't give us back the Excelivir. If he didn't, then I'd die with my hands around his throat. Nice. Badass. I gathered as much of my mind as I could and got ready to attack.
Fine.
Not quite what I'd been expecting.
Here.
With a shrug, he pulled the vial out of his pocket and tossed it toward me. I caught it and pulled the tiny glass bottle in my chest, worried I might drop it. The label said, unmistakably, Excelivir. It was the real thing. We don't really know that, but... Over, take it. I held it out toward her.
Right, of course.
She quickly tucked it into her pocket. Good. Now at least Quark will be alright. With that, the last of my strength left me, and I dropped to my knees.
Sigma, are you okay?
Interesting. I don't think I've ever heard her like that. Fi.
Sigma!
Although, considering just watching someone die like this is horrifying, I guess I'm not surprised.
First is the Soparil, which put you to sleep. 9 minutes later, the tubo killer ray is injected, numbing your respiratory muscles. I guess you could say It'll really take your breath away.
9 minutes. Once the soap was injected, I had 9 minutes until the muscle relaxer followed. About 4 minutes had already passed, which left me with 5, give or take a little. In 5 minutes, I would be dead. But is that true? I guess we'll see. Because again, we have not confirmed or denied the drugs working that way. Because the only ending in which we saw that the bracelets had injected 2 dead people, they were both in a situation where they could have died another way. I forget exactly what it was, but that was made very clear by the game. So I'm thinking that it's a possibility that at least not all of them work, even if this does kill Sigma. What can I do in 5 minutes? How can I save myself? I gave a raspy, quiet laugh. Even with death staring me in the face, I seem to be determined to struggle right up till the very end. Okay, so you can do this. Thinking desperately to what little consciousness I had left, I racked my brain for any possible solutions. How could I save myself? How? There had to be something. Every problem, no matter how difficult, has a solution. I like that. I like that attitude. There's always another option. Hopelessness is a state of mind. I just had to think. Think. If there's a way out, I'd find it. I wasn't ready to give up on life yet. There had to be an answer. And then he fell asleep, which is an oof. But did he... It's to be continued. It looks like you can save yourself here, and then it might... It's another one of those question mark endings, isn't it?